activity with which we want to start a reflection about this phenomenon. For this, the class will be divided in two groups. Each of them will solve a different workshop. Don't worry, it is very short. And at the end, we will need two people from each group to tell us about their experience, and in that way we can share a little reflection.
Acalculia is the loss of ability to perform simple calculations, typically resulting from a disease or injury on the parietal lobe of the brain. There are different characteristics that we can find on acalculia. The first one is understanding that every number represents a value and immediately registering this value. The second one is recognizing a number's value with respect to other numbers. The third one will be knowing a number's location in series of numbers and association of a numerical symbol with its name spoken verbally. Like when I say 1, this is what I see. Also, there is a natural variation in the speed with which young school children grasp mathematical concepts and those that have extremely difficulty retaining the foundations of mathematical concepts. It will be like the global quantifications or numerosity perception. These things are considered to have developmental dyscalculia.
The primary acalculia. The primary acalculia is a defect in calculation skills. So the children lose the ability to understand the number concepts and therefore combine them. So you can see the misuse and the misinterpretation of the designs. So we can differentiate two clear symptoms of the primary acalculia. The first symptoms is the anarithmetic, is a possibility to the performance arithmetic calculation. And the second is the asynthetic, is a loss of the computational signs. The secondary acalculia consists of the alteration of the mathematical abilities in the association with the other neuropsychological disorders. So, therefore, it cannot derive from a linguistic, spatial, and executive function deficit in general. The diagnosis of the acalculia should begin with through the neuropsychological examination. This test will rule of the presence of the dimensions and confusional pictures, aphasia, alexia, agraphia, all remain at unmasking a secondary acalculia. So it's important to study the different mathematical operations. Since it has been seen that injuries can affect only one specific operation and respect the rest. The minimum, addition, subtraction, multiplication, and the division skills should be tested. And the other operations should or should not be carried out taking into account the socio-cultural level of the patients.
So it negatively affects mental agility and the child has concentration problems. They get confused very easily because they are not able to focus and they're tired easily. Working memory is affected, so they will forget instruction and task. And they will have incomplete memories and a low level of motivation, in addition to having retarded mental arithmetic and will not remember numbers. And as for the short-term memory deficit, it makes it difficult for them when executing problems or calculations to remember the multiplication table or numbers. Dyscalculia, or difficulty in learning mathematics, is a specific learning difficulty in mathematics, which is the equivalent of dyslexia. In this case, it affects correct number processing and calculation, and is known like a number dyslexia. It affects around 3 to 7% of the population, although it had not been studied as well as literacy dyslexia. And also, it affects personal development and activities of daily living.
The characteristic of the child with dyscalculia can be manifested a different way, such as Performance is a significantly lower than expected according to their age and intellectual capacity. They have a difficulty organize numbers in columns, and the problems can be observed in the memorizing multiplication results. So, additionally, there are failures of the identification of the numbers. They recognize a 2 in number but not a 2 in letters. So T double O. Also, the problems in numerical separation, that is a numerical series of odd such numbers such as 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. And the children does not understand the values of coins or mathematical language and the symbols. That is a confusion between a plus or a multiplications. On the other hand, they have a confusion in the numbers that is for the child 2 is the same as 4 or does not recognize them.
Now we have the type of dyscalculia. The first one is the primary, is a calculus deficit plus the injury, is a problem in basic resolution. The secondary is an incorrect use of signs, is the wrong performance of operations, the disarithmetic, also the understanding of the numeration, the mental count that we say 1, 2, 3, they can say 1, 4, 3, 5. The problems with problem resolution and problems with the spatial, so it will like incorrect spatial order, then instead of seeing the number 3 they see the letter E.
The causes of the dyscalculia can be given of various reasons, such as first is the physiological, which can be via genetics. The second is a brain damage, which is necessary to have an injury in a certain eye. So additionally, it can be evidenced in a way acquired due to brain injury. Dyscalculia does not occur before there is an accident, and evolutionary, which occurs in the natural process of the learning, and finally, the environmental is what is given by a low stimulation and education by the parents and the teachers.
A way to diagnose this, it will be first an interview in the school and the parents. Also, we can have a clinical report where we can apply an IQ, an intellectual coefficient. Also, we can see the school aptitude, the developmental evolution, the battery to measure the numerical field, and also the battery to identify learning and development difficulties. So we can imagine that you are asking what is the difference between them. So acalculia is when there is a difficulty in doing mathematical and numerical problems. This one normally shows up in the adulthood and also is because of an injury. And dyscalculia is when there is a difficulty learning numerical skills, and this one is normally a learning disability.